Today I'm learning the three-phase process to become an elite sprinter. Welcome back to Average to D1 Athlete in 8 weeks, and this week I'm working on athleticism and sprint work. I'm at SOMA Performance and Fitness so that I can meet up with the owner Brandon and we can put together the best program to take my 60 time from 7.25 to 6.7 seconds. And we'll make it available at the end of this series so that you can become an elite sprinter for yourself. Let's go learn the three-phase process. Hey.
Mr. Smith, what's up, my dude?
How you doing?
Doing well, how are you?
Doing well.
Hey man, welcome in. Let me show you around.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
So this is the spot, man. We keep it pretty simple here. I mean, everything we have is built around helping athletes improve their performance, right?
Yeah.
So getting stronger, improving athleticism, speed work. So we obviously have a lot of open space with our turf space. We use generally just free weights. So as you can see, we don't have a lot of like fixed range of motion machines in here that you would see in more commercial type gym settings. So we've got 3 rep racks that we can work on both sides. So essentially 6 lifting stations there. Nice. We have several cable column setups as well. We have a bunch of different dumbbell options. So we use power blocks. Each of those are 5 to 50. And you can go up by 2.5 pound increments on both of those, or on all of those. And then we just have some regular dumbbell setups as well. Oh, nice. We have some different tools that we use for testing as well. So we use a jump mat, it's kind of hidden back there behind the dumbbells. We use lasers for all of our sprint testing. We use things as simple as tape measures for broad jumps and stuff like that.
Nice.
And then we have a lot of just general functional equipment. And then we have a sprinting treadmill, so a Woodway curved treadmill for top speed work. Okay. We also have a tank sled that we use for resistance-based acceleration work and things like that. And then, you know, a lot of different pieces of equipment have a lot of multi-use. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of different tools at our hands, but again, we keep it pretty simple, and then we focus on the things that are most important when it comes to helping people get results. So.
Sweet. Let's do a warm-up and then go through the 3 phases.
Yeah,
Does that sound good?
Sounds great. Let's go.
Okay. At this point, Brandon and I foam rolled, and then he walked me through the warm-up process and talked to me about the importance of a warm-up and why it's so important.
The concept of the warm-up has been so abused and underappreciated that, like, when you watch people warm up, they're kind of like going through the motions, they don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's such a prime opportunity to work on those little things that you don't want to take time from your session to always be doing, right?
Yeah.
There's a part that is important for that, like early in training. Like, yes, you're gonna spend some time in your training session really focusing on certain things, movement patterns, efficiency and all that, but eventually you're gonna become more well-trained and you've gotta focus on some other things. Well, here's a really good space to keep those things fresh without having to take a lot of time from your session to do it.
And here's a really good example of Brandon coaching me on one of those little things and how to work on them in the warm-ups. All right, you said high knees?
High knees fast, same pattern. So just like the A-skip pattern, so we're going knee up, toe up, hip at 90, knee at 90, toe dorsiflex. So same thing you were doing, but now in just that more rapid toe touch pattern. All right, a little bit of tempo here. Beautiful. Good, breathing, breathing, breathing. Good, relax.
I cannot emphasize enough how important the warm-up is, but how important it was for this workout to warm up well with Brandon coaching me. It contributed to a much better workout, and it contributed to a faster 60 time, which you'll see at the end of this video.
Warm up done.
All right, I'm going home. All right, as you can see, we just finished the warm-up, and
you finished the warm-up.
Yeah, I finished the warm-up. As you mentioned, it's a warm-up, so I'm sweating like crazy right now.
Sure.
But I think we're going to introduce the phases right now. So what are the phases? What's phase 1?
Yeah. So when we think of building speed, right? There, like you said, there's some different components to that, and we focus in our training on building that over different phases of training. So when we think of phase 1 for us is our acceleration phase. When we think of sprinting, and I want to think of this in the sense of I'm starting from a standstill position or a stopped position, and I'm trying to accelerate as fast as I can. This is one of the things we hear the most from people in terms of goals, which is that explosive first step, or it takes a while to get started, right? Okay, we know what we need to work on.
They've heard from me this whole time.
Sure.
The first 10 is my worst part of my 60.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I think, what separates most athletes for a couple different reasons. Well, most sports, you don't ever really get up to top speed anyway. Most sport is done in really short windows of space. So your ability to go from a stopped or a slow position into a really fast acceleration can change the game for you, right? So what we always like to do first is work on the base mechanics. So we start with really simple drills, and then we gradually progress those drills over time to make them more like what you're gonna experience when you're trying to accelerate. And then we start to build strength, build power through those patterns, so that as you go through your program, through phase 1 essentially, by the end of that, you're much more explosive in your acceleration, you're much more efficient in your movement patterns. So yeah, let's dive right into some of those drills.
Okay.
Cool, let's do it. So when we think of building efficiency through acceleration, one of the things we start with is just the mechanics of it, right? And the easiest way to do that is just standing straight up. So one of the things that you wanna do is you wanna go 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at the knee with the toe pulled up or dorsiflexed. Okay. Whatever leg that is, so your left leg, you want to reach back behind the hip with your left arm, and then you want your right arm at eye level out in front, just like this, okay? So this is our acceleration position if we were leaning forward, but we couldn't pause in that position, right? We just fall over, right? So all we're gonna do from here is just step down and switch. And what you're trying to do is get completely balanced at the top.
Okay.
Make sure you're hitting all these spots. So 90-90 toe up, hand behind the hip, hand eye level in front of the face. Okay. Once you've checked all those boxes, you just switch the legs.
And stop shaking so much.
Well, you might be shaking a little bit. That's okay. Yep. So you can relax. This is something we would do for a week or so, depending on how frequently someone comes in. And then we would have them be working on this at home as well, because it's just repetitions, just getting that movement pattern ingrained into your mind. Because when we start to actually get to where we need to produce force, we don't want to have to think about the position. We want to just naturally be able to get in and out of it. Okay. So the next thing that we would progress into is a more rapid switch. So we would just change quickly, pause, check all those spots, and then snap into, we just call them snapping acceleration mechanics. Yep.
Oh, see him falling
and then,
over.
Yep, that's okay. And this will expose some of those stability balance things. Another kind of side benefit of it.
Like that?
Good. Yeah, looks great. So then we would progress into that, and everything is based on, once that looks proficient, we seek proficiency, not perfection, right? So once we see some proficiency there, we can start to progress into the next phase. Okay. Now what we would do is get people into that more appropriate acceleration leaning position. So that's where we would get onto a wall. So I always tell people, imagine that you're still standing straight up. It's gonna be exactly the same here. Okay. One of the issues that we can run into is we no longer think about 90 degrees at the hip. For some reason, we think parallel to the ground. Because we were parallel to the ground here. Oh, yeah. Right, so we get a lot of overdrive, which pulls the pelvis out of position. Okay. So we always want to stay at 90, nice straight back leg. Heel should be hovering because we're pushing into the ball of the foot. And then we just work gradual. We start with single switch. Again, once we see proficiency, we'll go doubles, and then we'll progress into triples and then tempo, which is just more rapid for time instead of reps.
Yeah. And they've seen me doing this drill in previous weeks of this one.
Perfect. So setup wise, yeah, we want to be shoulder height. Yep, shoulder height with our hands on the wall. We want to be in a nice straight line. We don't want too much angle, and we don't want too little. This is a really good looking angle here. Okay. Everything looks good, and then it's just a quick switch.
Yeah, I'm tempted to be up here.
Right?
Too.
Yeah, you want to overdrive.
That hurts everything right through here.
Yeah, because you pull the pelvis under, which is then, I just say it kind of breaks the chain, which makes it weak. You want to be in a straight line all the way through, which is a good cue for kids, because then it prevents pulling the head up or dropping the head down. You've got to be ear to heel, straight line all the way through. Okay. Yeah, so let's pop back into that and do a couple.
Oh boy.
Just a one switch on a clap. A little bit of overdrive there.
I am, okay.
Little knee high. You want to be down there. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. Good, and relax. One of the things about this that gets taken away is the arms. So we're gonna work, usually in this phase, we'll do those separately. So we'll go legs on the wall, and then we'll do arm mechanics separately. Because I wanna disassociate the lower body and the upper body. But all it would be is, we call them walking arm mechanics. You swing the arms in the same pattern we talked about when we were doing the standing. So just past the hip and then at eye level with a slight angle in toward the midline. And then you just step slow, but move the arms fast. So we're disassociating, whereas,
legs start
usually we want to move the arms and the legs at the same pace, which makes a lot of sense. This causes us to just really focus in on those arm mechanics and take away the synchronization of the lower body. So let's just do maybe a couple reps of these. And if you want to just maybe, I don't know, go for,
like
stay in frame and go at an angle. And just nice and slow. Good tall posture, breathing, and relaxing the shoulders. Good. Yeah, that looks great. All right, so this next one's gonna be a band acceleration drill. So you're gonna hop in the band. Now the band is gonna act like the wall. So it's gonna hold you up. And what I always try to tell people on this is, you're not trying to run to the wall. You just want the band to hold you in your leaning position. It would be like you're pulling a sled and it's attached around your waist. But you're just gonna stay in place instead of going forward. But what it's gonna do is, it's gonna put us in more open space. It's gonna force us to do the same mechanics we were in on the wall, which we might have to coach through and move through a little bit. And then we're gonna really have those arms to swing and open up. I just wanna go far enough that I feel like I can lean a little bit without falling over, and I can work on my mechanics. All right, so leaning in.
Leaning right here,
and then just start your mechanics, and you'll gradually move forward. You're probably gonna end up somewhere around here, and then you're just gonna stay right there. And we're gonna go about 6 to 8 seconds. Yep, go for it. Punch and push. There we go, there we go. Yes, good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 3, 2, 1. Good, relax.
Oh, wow.
So did you feel how early you wanted to kick your heels back, but then you're able to get out of that? I will say, even when you were in it, you were getting a little bit knee to heel. You want to get that heel to clear that knee a little bit more. Yep. So that would have been like if you were on the wall and you were doing this versus this.
So everything's supposed to be dark right now?
no, but if you pass out halfway, it's going to throw you back into that rack.
Perfect.
So you're going to have a nice long nap after that one. All right, whenever you're ready. Leaning in, big drive, punch and push. There we go, leaning in, push the ground back. Push the ground back, shoulders forward. So did you feel how you started to feel like you were getting pulled back a little bit? You just got really tall. So this forces you to kind of try to stay in that lean, because the moment your shoulders come up, you're gonna lose that counterbalance, essentially. If that makes sense.
So now I gotta do it again.
We'll go 5 seconds. All right, here we go. Punch, push. Yes, knees up, toes up, leaning. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, that was better.
I felt myself trying to stand up, and I had to fight it.
Yeah, that was better. Yeah, catch your breath a little bit. We can pop out of there. And the next thing that we would do is add some resistance. So doing like a sled push. And I think people are creative enough to understand what it would look like if we were pulling it. Basically what you just did right
Just combining that with the push, basically.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is get into some sled work. So this is gonna give us a similar feel to the wall, because we're gonna be holding ourselves up. But now we're gonna get a better feel for ground contact. So we're actually gonna be making ground contact under the hips and then pushing through the ground like we would obviously experience when we're accelerating. So I'll have you grab the top handles, get into that forward lean position, nice straight line from the ears to the heels, drive the heel, clear the knee, and then just march. We'll just usually start with a march and a little more pop through the ground. Chest stays up a little higher. Yeah, we want that nice straight line. And then we would start to, the next, as we progress, we would start to do more tempo work with it. So think of the same movement pattern as the band, and we'll just gradually move it forward. A little more tempo now. And it's not about the speed of the sled necessarily, just more about the patterning. Clear that knee a little bit more. Good, relax. So, and that's another thing, it happens a lot. Yeah, we start to kick back a lot. So, like I was talking about earlier, it's just repetition of getting that same movement pattern in over and over again.
Okay.
A little bit more demand here. And again, we would always be very progressive with it of like, okay, we've checked the box, we've demonstrated proficiency, now let's move into this. And then we would go clip into the front, waist strap around, and then we would be pulling and having the arms going as well. So that's usually what we would experience in terms of the mechanical progressions of acceleration.
Okay.
I want to show you just a couple different acceleration drills in terms of start and sprint that we would do to emphasize that positioning early through the acceleration.
Is this where I fall on my face?
I mean, if it's gonna happen, this might be the spot. A couple drills that we would do early in someone's program while we're still working through those different phases of movement patterning is we'll do 10-yard accelerations.
Okay.
One of the things we're not talking a lot about in this series specifically, but something that we work on a lot is deceleration as well. So the ability to control our speed. I like to tell people it doesn't matter that you have a Ferrari if it has no brakes, right? Like it's really cool to go fast, but it's going to be the last ride you ever have, right? And a lot of the non-contact injuries we see in sport are during that deceleration phase of slowing down, re-accelerating, that type of thing. So we are going to work on that a little bit in these drills specifically, although I know we're not emphasizing that necessarily in what we're trying to talk about today. So the first thing we would do is we would start in a high plank position. The reason for this is when I get up, I'm forced to stay in that acceleration lean without really knowing that that's what I'm doing. So the things that we would do to cue this is we're gonna start in a high plank, and I don't want you to stand straight up. I need you to go forward right away. And then
it's
just
the hardest
say,
part for me.
and then just say, get to those cones as fast as you can, and stop in a good athletic position at the cones. So you're only trying to get through and to those cones as quickly as you can. So not too far.
And not fall on my face.
Don't fall on your face. I'm gonna clap to get you going. So you're gonna react to the clap.
Just right here?
Yep, set. Big drive. There we go, good. And then stop at the cones.
I started
at least
slowing
there's a
down
wall.
at the cones.
Yeah, at least there's a wall. But, and you could go down and slow this down afterwards. You stayed in your lean a good bit, and your recovery phase was faster because you were leaning, right? Like if you're not leaning, you don't have to recover as fast because you're not gonna fall on your face when you're standing straight up. But if you're leaning, you have to get back through and recover so that you don't crash. So this is one of those drills that like coaches you without you knowing it's doing everything you kind of need to be working on, right?
Oh, that's perfect.
So that we would use early in our programming. Other things we would use early are positions that create a long push process. Because in early acceleration, we have a lot longer time through the ground. So one of the things we would do is we'll start in a half kneeling position here. So now I've got to push for quite a while to get through this leg so I can get going forward. Again, we'll also cue like you need to try to lean forward, don't stand straight up. So you'll be here and then you push through that leg, which is really going to emphasize that early drive phase through acceleration. And especially for our younger athletes, this builds a lot of strength to get out of that position. And the nice thing is there's a lot of intent behind it. It's another drill that kind of drives intent without you really even knowing that you're driving intent.
Especially for a program that you're be doing at home, I like things that teach you without you having to be an expert, basically.
Exactly right, So you'll be down, your opposite arm is up, and then you're just kind of gonna lean over that front leg, set, go, big drive. There we go, good. So
that's great.
These are some of the things we'll do early. We always wanna make sure during a program, yes, we're working on mechanics, but we're not neglecting the fact that we need you to sprint. Like we need you to work at, so we do these things right from the beginning while they're learning those other pieces as well.
Sweet.
So that's kind of phase one in a nutshell. I mean, I feel like as a coach, I'm like, there's a lot of other things we do in addition to this, but this is kind of the foundation of everything else that we're doing during this phase.
Like if you did everything we did today, you'd get better.
Right, we want to be more powerful, but if we can clean up the patterns and how they move, their times will improve right away.
That's something I coach with hitting because I'm a hitting coach.
Sure.
I coach people that Yes, it's easier to hit home runs if you're a bigger guy.
Sure.
But I was hitting home runs at 155 pounds in college because I learned the efficiencies of a swing.
Exactly.
And once you can maximize your swing, then focus on getting bigger and you just hit the ball that much farther.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's the same kind of
Yeah.
idea.
Phase 2, that's kind of our top speed phase. So we start to really work on, after you've gotten out of that leaning acceleration, that kind of longer ground contact, you start to gradually get into that tall position.
The Tom Cruise.
The Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
the Mission Impossible Tom
Yeah.
Cruise, chase down a plane. Yeah, we get into that really tall position, and it's a completely different set of mechanics.
Okay.
So phase 2, we're going to really start to unpackage those mechanics, build some efficiency, and start to really challenge that top speed work.
Okay.
Now, the nice thing too, in building a program this way too, is we don't have to get away from that really important acceleration piece. So we focus on that early, then we go into our top speed work, but we continue to incorporate that acceleration work in.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about phase 3 and kind of how we pull it all together. Now, similar to our acceleration work, we always want to do kind of low barrier to entry drills to like build efficiency. So the first thing we do is just a standing cycling pattern, which we're going to take the inside leg. And what we want to think about, and I mentioned a little bit in the warm-up, is that stepping over the opposite knee. It sounds kind of gross, but if you think about like a pin shooting straight out from the inside, or a laser, kids like to think of lasers.
Okay.
I want to step up and over that laser, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this big circular action with the heel coming back as the knee comes up.
Okay.
So I also want to think of emphasizing the bottom part of the movement. A lot of times what happens is we think too much about the top side and we really drive our knee fast and our shoulders jolt forward.
Oh, yeah.
I want to think about this and then pulling hard into the ground at the bottom.
It's like
So
a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So hop in there. This is our first way to start introducing the cycling
Do I have to
pattern.
neigh like a horse?
Yes. No, that's part of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that'll be good.
Okay, so you're going here, up and over? And
Yep.
then-
And you want to think about pulling through the ball of the foot. So the
Okay.
heel should just clear the ground as you pull into the bottom of the foot. You might even feel yourself kind of pop up a little bit, which is
Okay.
totally fine too.
I'm like looking down as I do this.
Yeah, you
I'm
want to stay
losing
really tall,
posture. Okay.
tall posture. So think as the knee comes up, almost like someone's pulling your heel with a string. It's coming up and then over.
Okay.
Yep,
So it's not like back.
not back.
Is
It
that-
will
is that
be.
where you lose efficiency?
Well, when you're in top speed, you'll get some of that backside push just naturally. You don't even have to think about it. Here you want to think about, as my knee comes up, my heel comes up, because when you're pushing through the ground, you'll feel that. But this is going to train you to get back into your recovery position faster.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
We'll just get a few of them. Yep. Yep. Good. Okay, cool. So we talked about the wall drill. Next thing we would do is progress into what we call a dead leg cycling drill. So basically the same thing we did here with one leg straight and the other leg cycling, but now we're gonna actually pull through the ground, okay? So similar to like what we did with acceleration, where we're in place and then we start to progress into drills where we're actually feeling ourselves pushing into the ground, in this case kind of pulling through the ground. So we're gonna keep one leg straight. We're also gonna have our arms free. So we're gonna get a little bit of tempo first. I like to kind of bounce from one foot to the other. And then I'm gonna keep one leg straight and go up and over with the other leg, cycling and pulling and getting the arms going as well. It's gonna be great. Arms, swing those arms. That was better though. That was better. And it was the left side. We're dissociating one side from the other to really emphasize the patterning. And then what we would do is go into like a B skip cycling variation. So our A skips are here, so more of our acceleration mechanics, and then B skip is going to be that cycling top speed. So if I'm here, get into that comfortable movement pattern, and then I'm just going to emphasize that heel kick, and then that pull through the ground, keeping the arms going. Usually I would start pretty slow, and then as you get better, start to emphasize the intent and get a little bit more quick and explosive with it.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right.
So start with A skips because we've
Yep.
done that.
Yep, and then just sort of kick the heel. Yep. Nice. Yeah, that looks great.
Really?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So one of the things that happens early, which maybe this is why your phone died too, because you were doing kind of the karate kicks earlier.
Yeah.
That happens a lot when we first introduce it. Yeah, a little can action. But as you can see, just a couple exposures and your body starts to sort the movement out, right? And then it starts to gradually get more efficient. Where in that one, you weren't kicking out nearly as much. You're getting a lot more downward pull through each rep. So, I know this is what you've been looking forward to all day.
Yeah.
Let's get some reps on the
It's been
treadmill.
about 8 years since I've used one of these treadmills.
And it's the same one.
It's the same one.
All right, so wood weight curve treadmill. No motor in here, as you're well aware of, okay? But for maybe some of the viewers who are not familiar, it's all self-propelled. So what I tell people is the further you get forward on this, the faster it's gonna go, and you're never gonna make it off the end, although you're gonna try. So
you might make it off the back end.
The front end, the back end. I'm gonna open this door, and you can maybe you'll be out there by the end. So always we instruct safety measures and things like that, but you're super familiar with this, so we'll get kind of right into it. Usually, what I'll do is I'll say start by only going about 3/4 of the way up, and work on that cycling pattern in kind of a slower moving, progressive kind of approach. So we're going about 3/4 of the way, but I want to think high knee drive, kick the heel, up and over, and then if I want to really start to get it going, I just start to gradually move forward without leaning forward.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the hard part when we work so heavily on acceleration for so long before this, is athletes naturally want to lean. Well, you'll be through that door if you do that at top speed. So we want to stay really tall, and we want to think about moving our entire body forward. Once we get up to speed, I always tell them try to run through the wall. Because again, you're never going to run off the front end of this. So we go here, we start to get it going, arms are moving, shoulders relaxed, and then we try to sprint right off the end. Well, sometimes the key is to not try too hard. To really focus on your mechanics. Think of the efficiency of the movement, and then instead of thinking I'm going to try really hard, think about just going through that wall, and this thing's just going to keep speeding up. All right. Nice high knees. Big cycle, big arms. Big push, big push, big push, big push, big push, big push, big push. Caught your split on there. 16.6. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Little burnt rubber.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I lost part of the shoe probably.
Hey man, that was pretty sweet.
So that's the first two phases.
Phase 1 and 2.
Now we have to pull it together, right?
Sure.
That's phase 3.
Phase 3. So usually at this point we're probably 8 weeks in or so, in terms of maybe a 4-week block of our acceleration work, 4 weeks of our top speed, and now we're kind of in the pull it all together phase.
And that's kind of where we're going to be starting for my rest of my series here.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yep. So a lot more drills that emphasize that start through the long distance top speed, volume and work and intensity for this next 4-week block. So the first two, we kind of pulled those pieces apart, worked on them independently. Now it's going to be a little bit more of getting them together and getting that last prep phase done for testing and hopefully improving the 60s.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to the football field for that.
We're going to the track and going to get you out there running some distance.
Okay. Now we get to test the 60.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's game time.
It's game time.
So we talked about phase 1, phase 2. Phase 3 is where we would start to do things a little more game-like. For this specifically, since we're focusing just on speed development, not as much change of direction or agility or anything like that, the 60, which we're going to time today, and which is part of one of your goals, is something that really kind of ties together these two pieces of acceleration and top speed. So we're going to get some 60s today. We got our lasers set up, so we'll get some times on them as well.
And this will be my first time testing since week 0, since the baseline. So
we got to see where it's at. The truth is going to come out today.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Cool. Awesome. All right, you ready to go?
I guess so.
All right, let's get it. Ready. Nope, stop. It disconnected because I got a notification. Any little thing,
I'm glad that you stopped me.
No, I know. I didn't want you to blow through. All right, we should be good. Yep. Big arms, big arms, big arms.
It didn't feel fast.
What was your day 0 test?
7:25.
7:03.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sub 7.
Sub 7 on this one. All out, last one. Good to go. Good, big lean, big drive. Yes, big arms, big arms, big arms all the way. Come on, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. You can't clip this out. It's got to be all the way.
What did I get?
694.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, 694. Started at 725. Week 5, I'm at 694.
That's awesome.
I'm on pace.
You're on pace?
To get down to 6'7".
Yep.
As you can see, these 3 phases work. Brandon is a great trainer, and I'm excited to see where the rest of this series takes me. And I can't wait to release this program for you. My 60 time went from week 0 at a 7.25 second 60 to week 5 at a 6.94 second. We're crushing this challenge. But there's one thing I have to say which is unfortunate. You may have noticed that this video is quite a bit late coming out. I got sick a couple weeks ago and it took me out for these 2 weeks. It also set me back a lot farther than these 2 weeks worth of progress. So that being said, for that reason, I'm pushing back the end date of this challenge to where now I'm starting week 6. This was the week 5 video, it's coming out 3 weeks late. I'm starting week 6 now. I hope that makes sense. Full transparency, I'm recording this outro after I was sick for 2 weeks, after the recording day with Brandon. I weighed in this morning at 188 pounds. 10 days ago, I was 199 pounds. So that really took a toll, but we're gonna hit it hard here. Week 6 starts now. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, because if we hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this challenge, Brandon and I will give away one of these programs, and I'll give away the hitting and throwing programs that I use to one lucky subscriber. Sorry for the delay. Thank you for sticking with me. I love you guys. God bless you. Stay steadfast.